What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's late, I know. I'm trying to get this video out to you tonight so we can get a few views in and hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're back. Hold on, let me blow this up, my bad. We are back with Jaime Morgan Kane, the most destructive human being, the most powerful creature. That's probably what he is, because he's like a creature and an ature. Whatever that is, I guarantee you it's part of his DNA, RNA, whatever. But let's check him out. 34 years in California prison, part 4 with Jaime Morgan Kane. And this is Sean Atwood. You guys already know he's been here a few times. Let's see what he's got going on tonight.
It's like 2 a.m. in the morning, and we hear dun, 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 boots slapping along the runway out there.
Were they dancing? Why was there rhythm to their walk?
The doors of the laundry burst open. In come 12 members of the security squad, both sergeants, a lieutenant, and they holler out this guy's name.
Whose name is it?
So I said, that's fine. I said, I've got one addiction only, and I don't want to get rid of it. And he goes, what's that? I said, motorcycles. And I said,
He said that before a few times. So apparently Jaime is a train conductor at this point in his freedom. Pays pretty good. I didn't know that they had train conductors in England, but I'm sure they would have to, right? In the UK. And apparently where he works, the train he works on, you do not need sleeves. Sleeves are hazardous on their train. Does he seriously have somebody lifting weights on his hat? Oh, come on.
I said, well, what's she doing time for? He goes, well, because she cut up one of the whores that wasn't going to pay her money for working at the truck stop. And I said, yeah, this is a functional family. Quite honestly, as far as I was always concerned, the Pises were probably the more dangerous one because they lived in, places where it was violent virtually all the time.
Okay, see, now this is sometimes when people lie, their lies are blatant enough to where it's like, hold on. So keep in mind, Jaime, he went to prison in 1984. He fell in 83, went to prison in 84, okay? Mexico wasn't in 84 or 85 or 86 what it is now. So he's telling a story, he's telling a lie based on the violence of today. These are the little things that you got to remember. So when he says that the Paisas were the most dangerous in the California Department of Corrections in 1984 or 5, no, that isn't the case. Paisas, for the most part, they're very humble people. They don't go out and try to bully anybody. They do their time. And there weren't a lot of them during those years. So, good try, Jaime, but, it's just weird. The way it's weird.
Felipe had used inmate napalm on him, which is you boil a pot of water, you put baby oil in it, and you throw Kool-Aid in it.
Why wouldn't you just boil the baby oil like other people have done? Why would you boil water?
So when you throw it on, the water burns, the baby oil cooks, and the sugar gets in there and will cause infection. Ooh. And it's very effective. They wanted you, or whoever did it, to be turned over to them. And he's like, well, it's not like they would have killed us. I said, that would have been what you've been hoping for. You better start giving us the respect we have coming. So what respect?
Yeah.
He goes, well, we're doing hard time. I said, you're not doing hard time. You don't know what hard time is. And he goes, don't you know who I am? I said, yeah, and I don't really care. I'm Charles man said, I'm more than Jesus Christ ever was. And I don't.
He is back. I am talking about our
The Blue Man group is back. What's up, Sean? Sean loves Jamie Morgan. I don't know if that's Sean's wife or just a friend. I don't know enough. I'm sure Sean's a really good dude if you met him. But Sean, you did a little bit of time. You moved a lot of product. You met a lot of different people. You should have a better gauge of people. Your spider senses should be going crazy. But you see the numbers on Jamie Kennedy, Jamie Kane. So you're pushing. I see you.
first podcast guest, most viral podcast guest ever. Caused a lot of people to comment on his videos. And that engagement has created over 10 million views on his combined videos presently. He's got one video that's at 7 million views. If you've not seen it, what happens if a shot caller puts a green light on you in Folsom Prison? It's one story, 38 minutes. If all of our guests could just come on and tell stories of 38 minutes, 40 minutes, 50, whatever, we could just sit here and keep our mouths shut, it would make my life
Let me help you out.
Yeah, so we are absolutely delighted.
Said, this is the kind of stuff you need to do if you ever want to get paroled. You got to do these things. You need to take AA. And I said, but I'm not an alcoholic. And they said, well, the way we're looking at it, with the amount of time you might end up doing all said and done, you'll probably become an alcoholic because you'll have a reason to drink. And this is what the guy tells me, right? He says, so give me some time. And he goes, and then I'll write you off of it, but show me you're willing to do your best. And I went, oh, okay. So I signed up with AA with the secretary, and the guy who was the secretary, everybody called him Chicken Wing because he had been a thalidomide baby. And he had one arm that was all kind of shrunken up. And
okay, I'm going to say something in a second, but I want to see something.
He only had 3 fingers on it, and his thumb was actually his big toe off his right foot that they'd actually put on to make a thumb so he could, work with that. And he was like really skinny, couldn't put hardly any weight on and stuff. But I met him on the weight pile, funny enough, and he had special gloves made and stuff. And he was trying to lift weights, and I saw he struggling. So I went over and I first offered, and he says, well, I don't need your help. He goes, I'm a man. And I went, yeah, well, that's fine. But, there's time when you're lifting too much weight and you need help. So I spotted for him. And then when he realized I wasn't going to clown him, wasn't going to play him, wasn't going to, be a...
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and interject because the first thing that popped out of to me when he started that part of the story about AA, for those of you that don't know what AA means, and for those that do, can we just say it together? The second A, Alcoholics Anonymous. You're not supposed to name anybody in the group. This dude's disrespectful. He wants to tell his stories and tell his lies. That's one thing, man. But when people go into recovery, who cares if everybody on the yard knows, hey, that guy went to AA? You don't bring it out here, and even though it's his nickname, somebody knew him by that nickname. More than likely, this is not a real person. But anyways, it's Alcoholics Anonymous for a reason, man. I hope he doesn't keep naming people.
Abusive, like a lot of guys, because they'd call him Chicken Wing, Flipper, and things like that. And I would actually confront people about that, give them the respect, and stuff. And so he signs me up for the AA because I happen to find out he's secretary, so I get him to sign me up. So we go to the AA thing, and I'm sitting in the group there, and I took a reading book with me because I'm gonna be here in person, but I'm not gonna be here.
He's gonna be disrespectful to other people's recovery, is what he's getting at.
In presence, that type thing, So I've got my book and stuff, and about the third, they go, okay, we've got some new members now, and they called up one guy and said, could you tell us your story? And the guy gets up there and says, hey, yeah, my name is like Bill, and and I'm an alcoholic and a drug user and stuff. And they went, yeah, good, Bill, and he got down. The next guy go, my name is Jesus, and and I'm a drug addict, and da da da. Oh, good, Jesus. And then they go, hey, Morgan, come on up here. And I'm what? And I look around, and everybody's looking at me. And I go, wait a minute, no. I'm just here. I'm not participating in this shit. No, everybody's got to participate. It's part of the thing, you know. So I get up there and I go, okay. And they go, so tell us your name. I said, my name's Morgan Kane. Well, why are you here? I'm here because you weak, piss-ass motherfuckers can't take care of your own business, and you cry all the time about that the reason you did this crime or did that crime was because you're a drug addict or an alcoholic.
Steven Seagal has nothing on this guy. This, I like to have him on because he's funny, right? But one thing that I don't take lightly is AA. Those of you that know me from my other channel, my bigger channel, I've told my stories about my mom. My mom committed suicide while I was in prison right after the Pelican Bay riot of 2000. It was just too much for her to know that her son was there. She didn't know what was going on. She took her life. My mom started going into AA when I was a kid, and it helped her to overcome a drug addiction that she had. So when I hear people making fun of AA, I don't find it funny at all. So this dude, all the lies that he tells, that's one thing. But telling lies about this dude would have got knocked down in that meeting. There ain't no way you're going to be in any prison, no maximum security prison, and call everybody a crybaby and all that stuff, and everybody's going to sit back and be like, you know what, you're right, bro. You're right. I am a crybaby. It's not going to happen. So this video hopefully gets better because he's already got me like, I want to try another one.
Just get right. You're fucked up. Know you're fucked up and leave it at that, right? And everybody goes, sit down. I said, okay, well, thank you. Now we got that worked out. I won't be called up ever again. So we have a break about halfway through. They've had a couple of people get up and do these talks. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there looking at my book. He goes, they'll call you by Rose to come up and get a cup of coffee, and cookies and stuff. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, there's a shadow over me. And I look up, and there's Spike sitting there. And he's like, I'm the sergeant at arms. I go, okay. He goes, I think you've misunderstood what the purpose of this program is. I said, no, I haven't. He goes, well, we're here to help people with their addictions. And I said, that's fine. I said, I've got one addiction only, and I don't want to get rid of it. And he goes, what's that? I said, motorcycles. I said, I have absolutely no intention of ever getting rid of that addiction. And he goes, well, do you think that not having a motorcycle could drive you to drugs?
The characters that he creates, the sergeant at arms would be a convict. The chairman, the vice chair, everybody in there is a convict. It's not a cop. The way he's got these characters and he's creating talking, who talks like that? And who puts up with that? Nobody. I'm trying to be like, I'm watching Sean and his co-host or whatever during all this, and I'm just like, wow, how come nobody calls him on it? At least call him on the disrespect. All the lies and all that.
Drugs or drinking? I said no, but it could cause me to want to get into somebody's face, right? And so I stand up. Now, he's thicker than I am, and he's about 2 inches taller than I am, but we're chin to chin. And he sees it that I may not be the guy that's going to back down and, play the game. He goes, well, we don't want new members to be disruptive. I said, look, leave me alone. I'm reading my book. I'm going to get me a cup of coffee. I'm going to be good. Okay. And he goes, well, we'll talk later. I said, oh, yeah, okay, we'll talk later. And he walked off. So I get my cup of coffee. And I'm sitting there, and I see him moving around the room. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. He's going to sneak up on me. This is what I'm thinking, right? He comes over, and all of a sudden he pulls a chair up, and he sits down next to me. He goes, I would like to be your sponsor. My sponsor? He goes, I know that deep inside that you have addiction.
Again, this is in the 80s at some point. In one of the maximum security prisons in California. And someone has been disrespected, called a crybaby, a whiner, basically a bitch, right? And they're accepting of that and so humble that they want to be, they're asking, can I be your sponsor? I believe everything you say, Jamie.
Besides motorcycles, you're just yearning to try out. I tell him, look, no, I'm not. And he goes, well, I see you have tattoos. And I go, yeah. He goes, that's an addiction. He goes, you just don't realize, but that's another addiction you have. I said, no. And he goes, you notice I have a few tattoos. I said, yeah, I've seen that. And he goes, well, do you know why I've got my tattoos?
Oh, dear.
Said, no, I don't know why you got your tattoos. And he goes, well, when I first came to prison, I was very small and I was very pretty. And this one lifer came up to me and said, son, you're going to have a hard road.
He was very small, but he's taller than Jamie, but somehow they're still chin to chin. The guy is 2 inches taller, got a long ass jawbone. I'm going to make fun where I can, man. But I really am annoyed by this. This episode is annoying. The fact that everybody's making fun of it, it's just, this guy got away with, I mean, hey, they're getting views though.
Unless you start hitting the iron pile and you make people think you're crazy. And so the guy said, let me help you be crazy. And he tattooed a couple of tattoos on my face. And then people thought I was crazy. And then people left me alone. And then I hit the weight pile. And I hit the weight pile. And as I got bigger, other people wanted to work out with me. And then we hit bigger weight. And that's how I got these tattoos on my face.
Just a reminder, just some quick 411 for everybody. Your size in prison is irrelevant. When it comes time to be a man, as long as you're a man, you're going to be all right. You do not need to convince other people that you're crazy. You do not need to bulk up to impress others. You work out for yourself, for defense, for offense when necessary. But all this dude, was he ever in prison really? Like, was he a CO? Like, I don't get it. None of his stories make sense. Unless he's telling he was actually a correctional officer. I'm sure, somebody can find that he did time, but it just makes it, there's zero comprehension here. He did what? 34, I did 24, so he did 10 more than me. And I can tell you that my experience was completely different. The convicts in there were completely different. You don't disrespect anyone in there. Everyone, I mean, the lay person that has seen movies understands. In prison, respect is everything. And this dude's disrespecting everyone, and everyone's accepting of it. First time in history.
And that's how I got so big. And I go, weightlifting's an addiction. And he goes, well, yeah, it can be if you don't use it right. I said, well, do you do it right? And he goes, I'm all natural. And I'm looking at him, I go, you were going to sell that to me. I said, I'm all natural. I said, my skin is not trying to burst. I said, I walk and my legs don't touch each other and making the corduroy sound as you move, And he's like, well, I take protein shakes. Yeah.
I really need to know what year this is. So he's insinuating that there's some kind of steroids or something, protein shakes and all that. Oh man, this guy.
Yeah, okay. And I go, okay. And so he goes, well, we'll talk the next time. I said, okay. And he picks a chair and he goes off. I'm sitting there, and so the guy leans over and he goes, Spike's really tough. I go, he's really tough. He goes, yeah. He goes, he's got more than 100 tattoos.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He goes, well, you can't. You can't be tough.
He's making it up. Look. He's stumbling. So his toughness, another convict in a maximum security prison is basing so-called Spike's toughness on the fact that he has 100 tattoos.
If you don't have that many tattoos.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So, well, then I guess I'll never be tough because I don't have 100 tattoos. And he goes, I'm just letting you know because, if he doesn't like you, you're going to know it. Yeah, okay, I'm good with that. So I go back and I get to the yard and the secretary comes up to me.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be honest with you guys. So in my recovery, I've talked about this on my other channel. The old me, the violent person that I was, is in remission. I utilize tools on a daily basis to put others before me, to put my ego to the side. But I can honestly tell you that the old me is like in my ear watching somebody like this. Because like while I'm watching it, like I'm in my head, like I would have slapped the dog shit out of this dude. You know, if I would have been in that meeting, he would have disrespected. This right here is the fakest of the fake out of anybody I've seen on YouTube that tells stories about prison. Why does it have so many views? Is it because people laugh at it? Like right now, I'm not laughing, but it is amazing to me that this is part 4.
And he says, "What the hell was that?" And he goes, "Everybody knows I signed you up, and everybody wanted to know why did I bring the asshole here." I told him, I said, "Look, I didn't mean to have anything to do with you. Didn't mean to put anything on you." I said, "I'll get it squared away." And he goes, "Personally, I liked it," because he goes, some of those guys are just in there for the damn chrono, and they're not really even working, even though they do have a thing. He goes, "At least you put it forth the fact that, you didn't think." So we had this lady named Kathy Bethel, and she was the counselor, CC2, correctional counselor 2, who oversaw the program. Next day, I get called to her office. And she says, I'm going to tell you right now that if you want to get a decent chrono out of this, you have to attend every one, and you have to participate whenever you're called upon. Okay. And I said, okay, I'll put forth an effort. She goes, good. She goes, so what's your drug of choice? I said, Harley Davidson. And she goes, no, your drug. I said, Harley Davidson. I said, you don't realize I eat, drink, and sleep motorcycles, and if you cut me, I bleed 60 weight. And she's like, oh, you're going to be, a hard case. I said, no. I said, I don't drink and I don't do drugs. I don't smoke cigarettes.
He does not tell the truth. Let's see if that's on the list.
She goes, but you're a biker. I said, yeah. And she goes, and that somehow you're, able to avoid these vices. I said, look, when I took Biker 101, those were not options of, that I had to take to pass the course. And she goes, what? I said, yeah, exactly. I said, if you've never been there, you're not going to understand. If you have, I don't have to explain. So she goes, okay, well, I'm expecting you to be more participating next time. Okay. So a couple of weeks go by. I've been into the thing. Nobody's come approached me. I haven't been pulled up or anything. It's been a few weeks. All of a sudden, Spike gets up there and he's doing his little stuff. He goes, and I have a volunteer tonight. Morgan Kane's going to volunteer tonight to come up and talk about his addiction. And so I go up there and I go, hi, I'm Morgan Kane. They go, hi, Morgan. Okay. And they go, so he's standing kind of doing the co-hosting type thing. And he goes, so when did you first know you had an addiction? I say, intrauteral. He goes, what? I say, intrauteral. He goes, what the hell's that? I said, well, that was when my mom was pregnant with me. He goes, so your mom used drugs? I said, no. He goes, well, then how did you know you had a problem? I said, I didn't say I had a problem. I said, that's why I knew I had an addiction. And he goes, well, how did you know that? I said, well, because I was born on the Isle of Man. I was living off the corner of Hillberry, which is off the mountain course, and I could smell petrol leaking into my mom, and I could hear them.
All right. So we tried with Jaime Morgan Kane. This dude is too much. Hopefully I can find something else that's better. I'm not satisfied with this video, but I know I need to put something out today, and I apologize to you guys. This guy, we need the funny Jaime back, not the disrespectful Jaime. Okay? So with that, everybody be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.